And one thing I know is that Big Ben would have also had gold clock hands or silver clock hands. All my clocks had gold on them. I believe they're steel now or iron now, although iron was worth more than gold at one point in time. So the change wasn't so bad. But the clock hands would have been made of gold and perfectly balanced. That was another thing about Big Ben that was unusual from other things. Everything I had was perfectly balanced, so you could literally turn the clock, just turn the clock by hand practically, because everything instead of having this big lever out there, where you're lifting this big clock thing, it has a balance on the backside, so it's balanced. So you're only lifting a fair amount, a little bit of weight, but but also it would have probably been made out of gold or something like that in the far distant past. Anyway, though, but yes, lots and lots of gold, lots and lots of silver, everything real. Everything was real. Everything, gold, silver. It was the only way to not have it rust. So anyway, we might change it over to iron or cast iron as a metal proof that the iron was stable and good. Because iron was considered junk at one point in time. You couldn't do anything with it. It would just turn right to flake. Stable steel was one of the hardest things ever. It was harder than gold. Gold was easier to have than stable steel. At one point in time, steel was like, they called me crazy for wanting to do something with this iron stuff. But I was like, well, if we can actually use it though, it's one of the most common elements in the whole galaxy was iron. Whatever they theorized that iron made up like possibly a third of whatever, or 2/3 of whatever. So we were trying to find a way to stabilize it. We make it stable, which is not easy to do. Like I say, it's one of the iron that the recipe for stable iron was almost worth more than the recipe for gold. Because iron was like this unattainium, they used to call it, because you couldn't, it was really hard to keep it from oxidizing, and it would just flake apart, like a big loaf. No matter what, as soon as the air got to it, it would just bonded really well with everything. But I mean, anyway, that's complicated and it's an issue. It's in the past, and one of my great epic decisions to find a way to stabilize iron particles. So anyway, in a matrix or whatever. So anyway, whatever. It's all in the past, and I don't care. It's been highly contested and everything else like that. So I'm just like, whatever. I don't give a fuck anymore. I invested a lot of time and effort into that, almost more than I did in nuclear energy. Like a lot of, believe it or not, iron, stabilizing iron. That's why a lot of the scientists go, this is iron. Because for the longest time we couldn't get iron to stabilize. It's everywhere, and we couldn't use it because it would just flake apart. So it would just oxidize. It oxidizes faster than anything else. In an oxygen atmosphere, it oxidizes. It wants to oxidize. So to get it stable was like one of those things where it's like it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and I don't even know the recipe anymore. But there was over 1,000 tests or tries to get it stable, and then even after we had it stable in an oxygen atmosphere, getting it stable in a saltwater atmosphere was also just as hard. So, because it liked to rust. I don't know. Anyway, though, it's all complicated, and I don't really give a crap anymore because it's like, well, it was one of my epic things, but I don't even remember anymore about it. I went on to flight and all kinds of other stuff, but we finally got it. So, anyway, whatever. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah. Anyway, though, whatever. I don't care. I'm done with the whole shit anyway. It's how I got the White House and everything else is that, we had iron cannons and iron everything. And iron was more common than anything else and easier to come by.